Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another live broadcast of the Kev Baker Show right here on Truth Frequency Radio Network. And I'm coming to you live from Smart City, Glasgow, right here in the heartland of Scotland. We go out to listeners in Australia, obviously back up into Alaska, and everywhere across the US. We've got listeners in Norway, across Europe, England, Wales, Ireland, Scotland, you name it. They are all here for today's very special broadcast. Now, today is or for me anyway, one of the highlights of the month, because not only do I have Scotty Lopez on to round off the KBS week, but we're also joined by our very own resident astrologist. And that is, of course, Mary Dusina. For anyone who hasn't heard of Mary before, you're going to be blown away today. I can confidently say that. And where have you been hiding? Because Mary is a star shaman, psychic, tarot reader, astrologer, and mystic. And she was born on Halloween, no less, ladies and gents, and did the first psychic call-in show in the Tampa area back in the 1980s. You can get a full reading and enlightenment session from Mary over at marydusina.com. And you can also hear her every month with Joe Roop on Lighting the Void over on the brilliant Fringe FM. So without any further ado, let me first come to our good friend Scotty Boy. Scott, it's going to be... Now, before we get going, Mary, could I ask you just to turn down the volume on your end a little bit?
It's a landline, so that might take a little bit of an
That's okay. That's okay. We can go with that. There's a little echo, but I can deal with that. But that's nothing.
Thank you.
So, Scotty, before we hand over to Mary, you looking forward to this one?
Yeah, man. I mean, astrology and tarot readings and on all of that stuff, that's always been something that has fascinated me. And I am by no means an expert in any of this stuff, but I like to try and, dabble in it a little bit, and the whole thing of horoscopes and looking at people's signs and all of that stuff. It's just I have a deep respect for people who have the ability to decipher all of these things and do these readings and stuff for people. So yeah, this is going to be an excellent show, man. I think I'm buckled in and I'm ready.
Oh, good man, because we get Mary to come on at the time of the full moon, and Mary's going to talk to us all about what's relevant about this particular full moon. And of course, as the show progresses, we'll be opening up the phones for all of you as well, so get your pen and paper ready. I'll be giving out the number shortly, not quite yet, because I want to come to Mary. Welcome back at long last, Mary. I say at long last, right, because I look forward to you coming back on the minute our show finishes. So what have you been up to? And it's great to have you back here.
Oh, thank you. What a kind intro. Thank you so much. And thank you, Scotty. I've actually been feeling the sweet spot after a very tense time that we've all gone through, since late 2019, coming into the year of, you're going to have to see this and get a vision about it, 2020, to perfect our vision, into now the hoping that the chapter has turned anew for the year of our Lord of 2021. So last year, of course, I study the trends and the elements and the signs about 6 months ahead. And I kept feeling like, at the end of last year, oh, it's going to be so nice when late February and March get here. We're going to start that sweet spot of things becoming easier and blossoming and blooming and being planted, new seeds of change being planted the moment that the month of March opens up in Pisces. So it's a time now where there's been divisiveness and what I call a lot of right fighters, like they want to be right. They have to be right more than getting it right, and there's a big difference. For me, I would rather learn it the right way, understand it the right way, find that win-win right way versus I need to be right. It needs to be my way or the highway. So that's a pushback for me, and I feel like that we've gone from all these airy themes of the Aquarian planets lining up and Saturn and Jupiter, the great conjunction, just to take us back to the winter solstice star that a lot of star talkers were mentioning when we had Jupiter and Saturn go into the same sign of Aquarius, the heavenly water bearer, the urn of the electricity coming out to help us upgrade our vision. And what I've come at, Kev and Scotty, is that if we want to see the better vision, if we want to have clear vision, which is the actual English translation of the word clairvoyance, to have clear vision, to see clear, which 2020 obviously gave us a lot of stop signs and gave us a lot of alert signs and dangerous curves ahead and, crossroads type of a thing. So 2021 is about what did you learn from the freaky, bizarre, surprising tsunami wave of worldwide lockdown, shutdown, mask it, walk it. So there's all of us all over the world had to take a look at something that had never happened before in most of the generations that are on the planet right now. It was like, whoa. So first we couldn't believe it. It was hard to see. Then we had to look at it. And then we had to, if you're bright, not just take anybody's word for it on the left or the right or the up or the down, but search into your soul, always a good place. Go into your spirit, connect with Holy Ghost, connect with Great Spirit, plug into Aquarius, to the great mystery of all things, and then fuel your faith. And that's what brings us to Pisces right now, the last sign of the winter season on the great turning of the wheel, the Western zodiacal wheel, because in Western astrology, the tropical zodiac begins with spring equinox or the first zodiac sign of Aries. So when we get to Pisces, which is the 12th sign, it's water, it's oceanic, so we know that still waters run deep, and there's all kinds of mystery and all sorts of voyages and adventures that are taken upon the sea. And phonetically, SEA and SEE are in tandem right now, because Pisces is the sign that says, please dive deeper. Please don't just take the surface knowledge. Stop struggling in the water of your feelings and your emotions. Just relax. Just relax. The waters are whether your currency of water and emotional flow is indeed flowing, or are you being taken underwater? Are you caught in the undertow of anxiety or frustration? To me, that was the intensity of all the Capricorn lineup that hadn't happened for 700 plus years at the beginning of 2020, when a new look and a new vision was actually going to be force-fed upon us. Capricorn's all about the rules and the elitist and the oligarchy, and these are the rules and you better follow them or we'll shove you back in your cage, no matter what country, no matter what ruler, no matter what type of ruler. It's an attempt to override or scare or intimidate or interrogate we the people. Now, Aquarius, what we shifted into at the beginning of 2021 is saying, we the people, for the people, by the people. So there's this whole Robin Hood and his merry men and Maid Marian of the forest, of the secrets of the forest floor and the magical energetics of all the elements of earth and water. This full moon, the sun, is transiting. The solar great star is in Pisces. The fishes, Neptune, Poseidon. So here we have the water. And then the full moon is waxing full in Virgo at 8 degrees. So Virgo is about the harmony of Mother Nature or her rage. So Virgo is earth and Pisces is water. So for all of us listening and even hearing the replay, the theme of March, what we find at a full moon is wherever we're at cross purposes with ourselves, wherever we might be impeding our progress, or the ability to find that perfect piece of the puzzle, and it just interlocks beautifully. So full moons are when the sun and moon are in polarity or in opposition to each other. So to me, it's a good thing because I've got my elements both talking to me. I've got two of them. I've got Pisces, water, my emotions, my intuition, and my feelings. And I've got Virgo, which is my grounded, like the Virgin Mary, Mother Earth, the Madonna. Virgo is like, here's the pure intent. Here's the actual bada boom, bada bing core message here. Are you willing to hear it? And will you listen deeply listen instead of just listening, half listening because you're ready to make your reply. So Pisces is about however you connect to the Creator. There's over 1,000 ways and means to do that. However you connect to the great Almighty I Am. For me, just for me, I don't push on anybody, what I interlock with, what I pay homage to, and what drives anything that I do, whether I'm interpreting someone's star map, whether I'm giving a clairvoyant session, whether it's my hand swirling along an artistic deck of cards that have no power, and great spirit, great mystery, Holy Ghost gives me that signal, now, pick that card for that person. I, as a human this lifetime, named as, have bowed to and allowed the Holy Ghost, the King of anything and everything, paranormal and supernatural, to take the wheel. So that's why I don't question it. That's why I don't doubt it. That's why my ego doesn't get all puffed up that I'm all that in a bag of chips, because I know that the only thing I've done is get my ego and my personality out of the way, and that's a skill to learn how to do that metaphysically, indeed, to get it out of the way, not controlled by any spirits, not astrology as something I believe in, but simply tools in my mystical, metaphysical box of wonders, my ability to read the signs and wonders, my ability to know how to speak star and bring the star stories as archetypes to help people that are hurting and souls that are thirsty. So this Pisces cycle, full moon in Virgo, is about only you know the true answer. Is your soul thirsty? It's time to look.
Oh, Scotty. See what I'm saying here? Now listen, dude. I'm going to let you speak to Mary. She blows me away every time. I end up getting the goosebumps and things when she goes on a monologue like that. I know this is your first time with Mary, so I'm going to let you take over the wheel for a while here, Scott, and speak with Mary.
Well, I mean, I don't even know where to begin. I mean, that was that was pretty awesome, Yeah, so I find it, interesting. You brought up Western astrology, and
yes,
like in Western astrology, I'm Pisces. I'm a Pisces, but in Eastern astrology, I'm Aquarius. I'm an Aquarius. Because I guess they overlap, because my birthday's on the 21st of February.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. But I find it interesting because, like, I've had readings done in Western astrology, for Pisces, and a lot of that makes sense. But then I've also had it read for me in Eastern under Aquarius, and it makes sense as well. So, I find that interesting. What do you think about that? The Eastern versus the Western. Is there really that much of a difference between the two, or is it like some kind of a slight variation? I
believe that they actually dance well together. I have astrologers that prefer Vedic astrology, which instead of me calling it the North Node in 2021 is in Gemini, the South Node is in Sagittarius. A Vedic astrologer, which has ancient, very respected roots, will say the dragon's head, aka North Node in Western astrology, is in the energies and firing off Gemini for the next 2 years. Then the dragon's tail is in the sign of Sagittarius, what I would call the South Node. So I can tell you quite honestly that sidereal astrology, like Western astrology, is from point of view from Earth. So here's the picture, here's the visual. When fate and destiny and the divine and God decided that you and your spirit was going to become animated and take seed in our Earth Mother, that day that you went from an aquatic birth into an oxygen birth when the umbilical cord was cut, and you took residency here to survive on planet Earth, then what happened was the map above you, where the constellations and the planets were positioned from view of Earth, geocentric, is pretty much Western astrology. I've examined a lot of them. I went all the way back with the Persian astrologers, the Babylon, Iraqi astrologers, the Phoenicians, how the constellations tie in beautifully with the Roman and the Greek mythological legends and tales of the constellations. That's fun. I love blending that with Western astrology. I mean, that rocked my world and got me all away from all getting lost in the technical stuff that you have to learn in astrology. I mean, for some people, they really like math and calculation. To me, I want to get to the point of what it means to me and people. So that now the sidereal astrology, or like you're talking about, that's where the actual positions in the sky are as far as the constellations, or it's sidereal, star date. So it's they work together. I don't feel one's better than the other, but I have like a friend that's a Mayan astrologer, and she absolutely loves, she goes on Instagram and she loves like she'll call this the full moon in Leo. Like you said, it's one sign back. It's like one sign before, because it's like that precession of the equinoxes. I was taught by traditional European astrologers. I went more back into the ancient way of it. So for me, it just resonated to do the Western. Now, remember this. Let's take your example. You're an early February Pisces. Usually, in most people's star map, in their treasure map of the soul, Mercury, Venus, Mars kind of hang out pretty close to the sun. So somebody might be a Pisces and they might have 3 planets in Aquarius in the Western astrology, or they might have 4 planets in Pisces, and that's stronger in their chart. So it's never just your sun sign. So if you were talking about just reading Pisces or just reading Aquarius's monthly horoscope or yearly forecast, you need to really blend anybody out there, regardless of your sign, regardless of the method that you find that you're more compatible with. You always want to move as a triad, as a trinity. So your sun sign is your great star of the Milky Way. Your sun sign is your personality spotlight. It's your outer personality. The moon sign is your inner light. So the moon sign is more to do with the intuitive you, your childhood effects, plus or minus, your relationship with your mother, what you're seeking psychologically and emotional for creative fulfillment. But the rising sign, the ascendant, takes Scott's birthday on February 21st in whatever year and whatever time and whatever longitude and latitude, and calculates all that. And then the one of the 12 signs that was rising in the east at your exact month, day, year, time, and location of birth, which sets you aside from all over Pisces, being born all over the world. That was your specific numbers. And that rising sign is how you show up to other people. Like, people always guess me as a Leo. I've gone to Berkeley, California, back in the late 80s and 90s to the big astrological symposium. It's one of those big deals where all kinds of astrologers that I had read their books and bought their books show up. Every one of them guessed me as a Leo. That's part of my rising sign. Nobody, Scott and Kevin, guessed me as a Scorpio. And I have 5 energies in Scorpio. Nobody. So you'll see yourself as a Pisces a lot of the time because that's how you present. It's your spotlight. But other people will see you as it's 2 different words for the same thing, ascending sign, rising sign. So I've found that when I teach clients, students, I'll say to them, look, when you read anything, monthly or yearly, when you go to your little YouTube favorites, little fickle YouTube favorites that are telling you the energies for the month, make the rising sign of the ascendant number 1. And then make Pisces, in your case, Scotty, Pisces would then be like the icing on the cake, not the main cake.
Okay. See, that makes a lot more sense now, too, because I've had people throughout the years tell me, they're like, oh, are you Aquarius? Are you Aquarius? And I'm like, no, I'm Pisces. But they obviously see a lot of qualities of Aquarius in me. So it makes a lot more sense now.
Well, think about a recipe. If you're going to make, Swedish meatballs or a cake, our starry constellations, that's our little flavors that go into making up the cake that we are, for example. So Pisces might have fresh pineapple and blueberries in it, and Virgo might have a strong vanilla nutmeg kind of taste. So each one of the 12 constellations, to me, is like a spice and a flavor, which ties in with this full moon. Because this is the full moon in Virgo. Virgo is about anything and everything that's holistic, herbal, healthy, natural modalities of healing. Now, what's the balance, polarity, opposite sign to Virgo? Well, it has to be Pisces, because the full moon's happening while we're in Pisces. So Pisces is how we can, like a doctor would call it, the placebo test. 5 pills are the actual drug. You have 10 people. 5 other pills are just a sugar pill, but you've got 10 people. 5 of those 10 people are going to get the real drug for the trial, the drug test. 5 more are just going to get placebo, but they're all going to be told, we have a new fabulous drug, and this is going to take that pain away. So the placebo effect is what flips out Big Pharma and a lot of the medical people, but doesn't surprise the Buddhists and doesn't surprise the Ayurvedic and the ancient Chinese medicine people. A lot of the placebo people will say the pain left. But they got a placebo. They didn't get any drug. So it's that Pisces is that power of, I know that I'm more than my mind and my body. I know that I have some kind of supernatural divine animation going on with me. Now, the more you take that deeper for whatever evidences itself in your life, I don't have any problems with the Holy Spirit leading my life, the Holy Ghost, because it's evidenced in my life since I was a child. So if that hadn't happened to me, if it wasn't my supernatural army boots on the ground experience for over, 35 years, then I would still say I would have some doubts and questions. I have none. I have none. I have tested it. I have worked with it. I have bucked up against it. And I know for me, when I acquiesce to the king of everything that is supernatural, when I acquiesce and say, hey, you know what, Holy Ghost, imbue me, take care of this, I release it. Part of that Pisces effect is I surrender to a higher power. Mary doesn't have to do it. Mary doesn't have to be right. I don't have to have the spotlight. I'm going to acquiesce to the higher angelic armies and the almighty I am. I'm going to surrender that. Now, other people I've met that are devout Buddhists that came over to America from Vietnam after the Vietnam War, they're absolutely creating the same kind of manifestation, surrender, and magic and healings that the doctors go, I don't know how the heck they did it, but they're healed. So I've seen it with Buddhists. I've seen it with the Ayurvedic community. I've seen it with big time with my First Nations community, my Native American teachers. Absolutely, amen, I bow. They know how to connect with Great Spirit, Great Mystery, because they revere the heaven and they revere and respect Mother Earth.
Now, Mary, before we go to the break, we've got a couple of minutes, but this is your first time with Scott, so what do you pick up now that you've had one segment of radio with Scotty?
I feel that I want to go back to like 2007 to 2009. I feel like I want to go back then, and there was some kind of maybe what I would call an immortal change or an immortal effect, meaning that whomever or whatever became significant as events, as people, whatever slammed the door and left and whatever came into his life, what he slammed the door and walked away from and what came into his life is, here's a big lesson we're going to be a part of. You're committed to this ride. 2007 to 2009, I feel like there was some kind of awakening ultimately and a rising up of his vibrations with his soul mission. I feel like he totally did an about face as far as, you know what, I can go down that path, or I can go down that path, or I can be self-destructive, or I can decide, you know what, I'm going to rise up from this. So it's like even if there was a fall, where Scotty is strong is how he rises back up energetically from whatever trip or fall or tidal wave or goodbye or hello or that's it. Whether he's had to do it or someone's done it to him, and initially he had to go through the feelings of being left or abandoned or rejected, and yet having such a strong kindness realm of chakras with him where he doesn't want to ever be he knows this lifetime, I don't ever want to be the one that inflicts any aspect of a feeling of rejection or abandonment on people. I know anciently what that's like, so I just got to be really true to them, even if it's not what they want to hear.
Oh, nice.
So I feel like he's got a destiny right now, Kev, of being that truth teller, being that one that gives clarification, whatever the topic.
Scott, what do you make of that, brother?
Oh man, that gave me chills because yeah, there was a lot going on around that time frame, and yeah, I kind of, first of all, I would say that was around the time frame when I quote unquote woke up, right?
Hold that thought. We'll be back
yeah.
after these messages. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It's our very special once a month broadcast with our resident astrologer and expert in all things metaphysical, energetic, the deep woo, as me and Scotty call it. We've got Mary Dusina live here on KBS. Now, don't forget, coming up after today's show, more live radio on your number one network, Truth Frequency Radio, tfrlive.com, where silence is consent and where we give you protection from deception. Now, before I hand back for Scotty to give Mary his raw reaction to that on-the-spot reading he got, this is where you can participate in today's show as well. And we've already got one caller on the line, but we want more. And if you want to either ask Mary something specific relating to maybe something you're going through right now, or just for Mary to give you a cold reading on the spot, all you need to do is dial 213-233-3998. That's 213-233-3998. And remember, you can check out all of Mary's work over at Mary Dusina, DUSINA.com. So, Scotty, you got your first taste of my good friend Mary here. And at times I call her Scary Mary because she's so on point, dude. And I could tell that when she was talking, I was watching your face here. The reaction said it all, but I'm going to hand it back to you and Mary now. So what do you make of it, Scott?
Oh man, this is wild. I mean, because it was that general time frame, between 07 and 09. I would say that was my kind of awakening time frame or whatever. When I started looking into a lot of the stuff regarding just a lot of things, and realizing that a lot of the things that I had been taught were a lie, and those of us, I guess that you would call in the quote unquote truther community or whatever, we call it our awakening timeline or whatever. But yeah, it was around that time, and then it was through that awakening process when I kind of was like, what do I want to do with my life? Do I want to continue, well, kind of like Mary said, some self-destructive behavior and whatnot, or do I have kind of a higher calling to get this truth and information out to people, and I started shifting my perspective on a lot of things and everything like that, and kind of yeah, I mean, it was a very, very interesting, I would say, transitional period in my life that occurred in that. So that's pretty mind blowing. That was pretty spot on, Mary. I must say. Ooh, yeah.
But I feel with you. It's like there was, what I saw was like there was some, like Edgar Cayce, a Pisces, also talked a lot about our energetic shields and our aura and the energy that emanates from us, and some people, if they've ever gotten curly in photography, they get like the pictures and the colors of the emanations of the energy that radiates outside of us, because we are an animated being. So I feel like that it was like those ultra-terrestrial, or when we blend with, like you were talking about, the truth tribes or the truther communities, or maybe the awakening armies, when we make that commitment, it's a commitment of intention, and it summons up like some of our soul strength. It's just like, yep, I'm making a decision now. I'm done with a little bit of that, a little bit of this, and basically, if I take it down to just what's the nuts and bolts and the black and white, am I going to walk the path of awakening in the light, knowing that I'll also have some lessons and ups and downs, fighting off the darkness, fighting off the snares and the lures and the temptations that could be destructive to me, the people that want to poke the tiger in the cage, because it always seems in all of these truth systems that the dark force, whatever you want to name it or call it, or those of you that certainly have seen it show up in your life, I have, anything that's demonic or nasty or ill-intended, it always seems to want to snack on the soul. It always seems to want to disrupt the soul star, and that's why it often will go after the innocent, like little children, or the very tender older community, or like when you least expect it, kind of a thing. And I have found with many clients and myself over the years that once, like he's talking about, you make that decision, okay, it's not just a little bit of this, I'm not going to do ayahuasca or LSD or these things just to get high. If I do an herb, if I consume or go on some type of herbal altering mission, very much Virgo full moon, my intention is to be able to clear and cleanse and sweep clean any kind of deleterious or uninvited energies that have been hanging out with me. Psychologists would say you're going to unpack that suitcase you keep lugging forward in all of your relationships. So that's this moon. That's this moon, to purge, cleanse, clear. I mean, on the negative side, got to say it, on the temptation side and the dark side, the Pisces sun can have someone go into victim mode and do too much of whatever substance it is, so it becomes destructive or abusive. And Pisces rules hospitals, all forms of rehab bases and healings, and it also can rule jail, prison.
Wow.
So it's about you need to choose the light, because each one of these 12 spices called zodiac signs, they've got their light and their dark. So it's always our gift of the divine to us, to thine own self be true, and acquiesce it up to the highest force, to the sacred almighty I am, God, and then however you want to connect with that, and then you're going to start to see the real flavor of the upper part of these heavenly signatures enhance your life.
There you go, Scotty boy.
Wow. And going back to what Mary was just saying, right? Like when you make that choice, and then it seems like these dark forces or whatever kind of try to strike back, if you will, because now you seem to, I guess you could say, pose a threat to.
That's right. That's right.
Those dark forces, and it wasn't too long after that period, right? That 2007 to 2009 period. Just a few years later, I had a lot of tragedy occur in my family, right? Like I lost both my grandparents, both my grandfathers. I had my best friend from high school had passed away in 2013, and just a lot of. I had my left leg amputated below the knee, because of a lot of complications from being in a wheelchair and all that stuff, So there was a lot going on right after that fact that I think that if I hadn't made that choice to,
exactly,
be this like truth teller and kind of choose the side of light, if you will, and all that stuff.
Yes.
If all that would have happened and I hadn't made that choice, I don't know if how I would have been able to handle a lot of that stuff. You know what I mean?
It could have been easier just to slip. It could have been easier to cave in, which the dark force loves. You survived all that you survived for a host of reasons. And so you are that very effective, powerful, if you will, expert. Like people say, well, you didn't jump off the bridge. You don't know what it's like to survive. There's certain areas of my life and your life you can go, yeah, I have been on that bridge. Yeah, and I did have things. I had consequences from being on that bridge. Thank you. I can speak on that bridge. See, you can. There's very specific things. Someone that survived an attempted murder, someone that survived, a fatal car crash for everybody else in the car but them, someone that woke up after an exorcism going, whoa. Yeah, so those kind of things, these are like energetic tentacles are pulled out of us because we made that commitment. And again, I'm just for anybody, the trolls out there potentially, I can't imagine Kev has any, but it's like I'm not, if you're just tuning in, I'm not saying that I'm more powerful, better, glowing, spiritual than anybody, but what I am is absolutely committed to the light.
And
so
you're 110. You're 110%
Yeah.
authentic and real, and I think that's what I resonate with as well. And you bring this kind of knowledge to the table that I'm interested in it, as I've said to you before, but I'm not knowledgeable in it. So it's really, really I learn a lot just sitting here. I've got my notebook open. I take down the odd notes, Scott. Because,
Smart.
yeah, I want
Smart. I
to,
used to do the same thing.
especially
It's
when
like
you're
anywhere
on
I
though,
went.
Mary. But especially when
Say,
you're on, because you kind of, I know you enjoy the shows we do with Nano Girl. And
oh, I do.
in some ways, you're like Nano Girl because you're here today, and part of the show is telling us what to expect in the next month until you come again with the full moon, and that's future proofing us. That's what Nano used to do, and she'd be covering tech a year, 2 years ahead of it ever coming onto the market. And to be able to hear you doing this by just speaking to people, using your knowledge of how these energies, how the planets all interact with one another, it just takes it to a whole new level, Scotty, right? And we've got a caller on the line. Don't you worry, we're going to come to you in a second. But that's why I really enjoy this kind of show, Scott, because it's positive as well. It's not doom and gloom.
Oh,
Mary's empowering, if you
no.
ask me.
Oh, exactly. I mean, if she's giving out information that it's like you said, future proofing. It kind of gives people a heads up. Hey, look out for this, look out for that. Maybe you might want to plan ahead because this is what's going to happen. And like you said, Kev. I mean, it's a topic in which I have an extreme interest in, but I have absolutely, hardly any knowledge
Yeah.
whatsoever. It's one of those things, and like one of the things I just kind of learned about all of this astrology stuff, and like what Mary was talking about was, it all comes down to like the specific location you were born and the longitude and latitude and lines and it's a very it's a very personalized thing for each individual.
Yeah, it's very
And then that
precise.
was
Very
yeah,
precise.
and that was something I didn't realize, for the longest time. I just always thought, well, your horoscope is just kind of this blanket thing for anybody that was born within this sort of time frame. But no, it's much deeper than that. And so just that in itself, I found very, very interesting because now, it makes a lot more sense to me now that it's all
And think about it,
personalized.
and think about if you for everybody, regardless of our sign. Like for example, the sun. If we looked at Virgo, everything to do with herbology and essential oils and things, right now Virgo's saying, hey, this is the best time of the year, won't come again until mid-September, for you to save some money and learn a little bit about making your own natural toothpaste or natural deodorant. Find the oils that you resonate with for this particular season, because each one of the four elements in the star stories represents a season. Like we kick off spring in the northern hemisphere when we have Aries, the fire sign. So we have 3 signs in the spring, then we have 3 signs in summer as we get to summer solstice, and so on and so forth. So like right now, one of the herbs that comes to mind, people that want to stimulate hair growth instead of paying this $200 and $300 products on TV that may or may not work. I'm not picking on any one product, but I mean the core, if you really do the research over decades, like I like doing, rosemary, the herb of rosemary and the herb of lavender, they're in the evergreen family. So Pisces can be calmed with their emotions with just smelling a lavender plant or working with some lavender essential oil if it's pure. And Virgo, about scalp stimulation and helping hair grow and opening up the pores and the follicles for better hair health, it's rosemary. So I grow rosemary every year, and I go out on the full moon, and I clip some rosemary, and I stick it right in the bottle of natural shampoo that I'm using. I condition my hair only with pure olive oil, pure coconut oil, or I'll use jojoba oil, and that's spelled like jojoba. It's spelled like Jojoba, but it's pronounced jojoba oil. And these nurture both your skin and your hair. So I don't spend thousands of dollars every year like a lot of, sorry girls, females will do, thinking more expensive is better. I go to the core of what Mother Nature says, this is for that, and that's what I do.
You see, this is like life hacks as well. You see what I'm saying, Scott? This woman brings it all to the table, man.
It's funny because I was just talking about lavender the other day. It might have been last. It might have been last time we were on Freaky Friday or something, because I was talking about how like calming and relaxing lavender is for me whenever I need to like chill out or something like
Well,
that.
and each sign has colors, and so Pisces colors. If you look at the bloom of lavender, if you look at the bloom of Allicin garlic, when it blooms, they come up in these purple shades, these violet, lavender, purple shades. And I'll tell you, one of the best cakes you'll ever taste is you make a lemon cake, just a basic lemon cake using real lemon peel and real lemon, squeezing it from the lemon, like the pure lemon juice, and add a little bit of pure, not oil, the lavender flowers, like grow the lavender. It was an English a baker from the UK that taught me this, and you can make cookies like this too. And she put just a few on top of the batter and then mixed it in the last thing of lavender flowers. Oh, the LL cake, the lavender lemon cake, oh, it is awesome and healing and very healing. And it's, like cannabis baked in a cake. You're going to get really relaxed if you eat a lemon lavender cake.
You see, I tell you, now this is where it goes into even another gear, Scott, because we're going to open up the phone lines now, and we're going to hear people's amazement. And for people out there, grab a pen. This is your chance to phone in. All you need to do is dial 213-233-3998. That's 213-233-3998. And we are going to area code 516. You're on with Mary, Kev, and Scott. Thanks for calling into the show. I don't know if you want to give your name, but I'm going to pass Mary. We've got our first caller here, so I'll let you talk to them.
You don't have to give your name. You don't have to give your name at all, because it's an energy that I'll be plugging into and tuning into. So a lot of people like to keep their anonymity, so I always say to people, either give a fake name or just go right to your question, or if you just want me to say to you what card I pick or what message I get for you, that's good too if it takes pressure off the callers.
There we go. So over to you, caller. Is the caller on the line? Area 516.
Hi, this is Jessica. Hi, Kevin, Mary.
Hey, Jessica.
Hi, Jessica. Bless you.
Hi, how are you? Bless you.
I'm good.
Love what you said about the herbs. I actually, I don't know if you ever heard of Julian of the Herbs. So lovely stuff. But love what you said about everything about this Virgo moon coming up. So I'll just, whatever you want me to do, if you wanted to say whatever you wanted to say, that would be.
I can do that. Just go straight to your spirit. Go right. If we don't interfere with spirit, it'll give us a point-blank message every time. Do you want to be told what spirit wants you to hear at this time, or do you have like a kind of, like Kevin was saying, kind of a main question that's got you kind of twisted?
Just like to hear it. Just connect with spirit.
Okay.
And see where that takes us.
Well, what I feel is for some reason around either you or someone around you I see is like and of course, I know as a female I've changed my hair color into lots of different shades. So I'm going to say that the natural, earthly given coloring of the complexion and the hair might be in the brunette family, might be like the copper or the gold or the brown eyes. Somewhere there's this woman that plays a significant role. If it's not your coloring, that I feel like it's going to be some kind of helpmeet or inspiration, or gives you some facts that are important. It could be in banking. It could be with a signature on a contract, or more research that you need to do before you sell it or buy it, or both. And I feel like that there's something about to happen that's very successful, or that's very personally invigorating to you, that it's something like, oh, goody, finally, like when someone's waiting to upgrade and get, even if they get a used car, they get another car, or they're able to finally paint the room and rearrange and finally get the furniture or whatever it is. There's something that you're going to do that's some type of and I do feel it involves with something to do with currency or money flow or prosperity of some kind. To me, Spirit's saying it doesn't matter where it comes from, whether it's a loan or a gift or somehow there's going to, or something, a profit from a sale, it's like a win-win deal. But I feel like you're coming into a cycle to where something that was only an idea 3 years ago is beginning to manifest.
Okay.
And it's liberating for you.
yeah, there was some issues around some things, and I went through a lot of different things, and yeah, I feel that coming through. Went through a lot of hard times, but as we all have, and I definitely do feel that coming through.
Something about
and
you got the Ace of Swords, and there's only 4 aces in a 78 card tarot deck. So I feel like as you get to the point of where we're right at the end of Gemini, when we're at that final like air sign, of spring, and then we're about to hit summer solstice and go into the sign of Cancer, the crab. There's something about that mid-May into Memorial Day time right there that I feel like there's a big start or a big startup, or the beginning is like you're rolling. The tank is full and you're rolling. You're on the move, and you're on the move. You've been on the mend, and now comes the highway of success, kind of a thing. I feel like that you're coming out of some kind of, like you said, there were some sharp shards of striking life knows or not yet, or like, wow, that's not going to happen. Thought it would, invested in that. And I feel like now it's got to do with like literally the butterfly emerging out of the cocoon.
Yes, absolutely. Like I said, there was a lot of things going on, but I always have faith in spirit that it will take me to where I need to be, as always. And
that is a smart. That is your smartest strategy right there. I fuel my faith. I always have faith in the course correction, direction of sacred spirit. Just like when Kev talks about truth frequency radio, your protection from deception. I mean, that's very Piscean Aquarian too. To Scotty's point, perception. Our perceptions, what we perceive, what we believe, and then getting away from deception. Your protection from deception is involved with your perception. And I feel like that's a strategic mode that you've given a lot of thought and even meditation and ceremony toward.
Absolutely, and I expressed that with a lot of people, and a lot of people said all of these hard things that I went through, and I said they're all, I believe that through my spirit guides, all lessons needed to be humbleness, grace, spirit, and I'm very focused with that. And some people say, how are you standing? Sometimes with all of this stuff, I said it's grace, and it's really
there you go.
Believing in spirit. And
grace.
It's really,
grace is a power. Grace and glory are they're like jetpacks.
Yeah, I mean, there's not to quote biblical things, but Saint Teresa of Avila that has a gorgeous quote. I'll say it quick: "Let nothing disturb you, let nothing frighten you. All things and pass things away. Whoever has God lacks nothing. Patience obtains all things."
Nice.
And I have written this down. And today, when I was going through some stuff, it always seems to find that paper that I have written many times, and it always shows up. And
that's in the same category. Right. That's in the same category of glory, and it's in the same category of a miraculous talisman, in a sense, an amulet, as they called in the past, or a talisman. That parchment paper, those words that leap off the page, and that mentor of St. Teresa of Avila, those are all ways that Spirit can get to you through the magical mystery of the sacred communication. There's a language that we all learn to be able to communicate with, sign language, different cultures. I know Spanish, I'm bilingual, blah, blah, blah. And then there's like the power of the unspoken word, and then there's music, and then there's when you come out of a meditation and you look at a sunset or a moonrise and you go, by the glory of grace, look at that. I mean, and you feel it. It's medicine.
Yes.
It's medicine. So that paper and the way that always comes back to you, that's good medicine.
Absolutely. There was relationship things, there was all kinds of things, there was money things, and I always, and I think the last time I called in, I think you saw the elk come up, and I think there was a solitary moment where I was very solitary with a lot of things. And it's
thank you for the feedback. Well, now you've got the cups. So the cups are saying the cups are hearts in regular playing cards, and the cups relate to the season of spring wherever you live, whatever hemisphere or place on the planet, your walkabout. But I also see that there's something to do with a lion. I keep seeing the animal totem of the lion, so I feel like there's something in the Leo period of this year when the Sun or Mars get into Leo of this year, but that's going to be something to where you, again, when you think about the Lion King, when you think about the Wizard of Oz, when you think about the Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, when you think about Ashland, the shamanic lion teacher, you might start reviewing those little movies on whatever you stream or YouTube or whatever, and just look at those poignant scenes involving a lion. Simba or the Wizard of Oz.
We're almost on the break here. We're almost on the break. So,
Thank
Jessica, thank you so much for calling in.
Thank you so much, Mary. As always, beautiful stuff. Thank you so much for your input. Have a wonderful night.
There we go. So that's our first caller of the day, and I want to hear from you. Please call in. There was somebody else on the line. If you want to call in, it's 213-233-3998. That's 213-233-3998. Go and grab yourself a quick cup of tea. We'll be back in a couple of minutes with more from Mary Dusina. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We're moving into hour number 2 of today's Kev Baker Show with our very special guest, Mary Dusina. I've also got Scotty Lopez here with me today, and we've got the phone lines open. So if you want to call into the show, all you have to do is dial 213-233-3998. That's 213-233-3998. So during the break, Mary, you were talking with Scott, and you'd got a bit of a kind of sensation, a feeling, a message, call it what you will, and it was throwing you the year of 1992. And Scott, that's very relevant to you, right? Because you were informing us that in 1992, what were you doing?
Well, I mean, my mom had just got out of a really bad marriage, and we were moving from Texas to Kansas to kind of start anew again. It was a very big transitional year for my family, and so yeah, 1992, a very, very significant year, and then Mary also kind of throughout 92, 93. I mean, my brother was born in 93, so I mean, just once again, she's blowing my mind, man. Got the feels when she said 92.
Scott, this is why I have dubbed this amazing woman Scary Mary, because she does. she kind of makes you pause in your tracks. You're like, wow, how can somebody know that? But I'm gonna get my tarot card pulled in a moment, because we have got one of our amazing listeners on the line to speak to Mary. It's area code 828. You're on the line with Mary Dusina. Mary, I'm going to let you take over with the caller.
Bless you, caller.
Are you there, area code 828?
Hello?
There we go. Welcome to the show, sir. And you're on with Mary Dusina.
Okay, thank you, Kev. Scotty. Mary, brightest blessings.
Thank you, I'll take it.
This is Russell Johnson. In September 2019, New Moon Show with Joe Roop. I called in and you pulled an oracle card for me, and it was the Swan. And I've spent almost 6 months, 7 months trying to research it and make it fit, and it don't fit. And it's strange synchronicity this afternoon I was meditating. Good friend called and said that he was going to be on the show tonight. And while I was meditating, one of my spirit guides said, you need to call and clarify. So
perfect.
I need to get this resolved.
Okay, so when an animal totem comes up, when I get from one of the angelic messengers a specific animal totem, swan, now in my life, just to give you a little example how it can broad beam and overarch out, in my teens, great truth teachers that I enjoyed reading and I know helped craft my personality even deeper into authenticity was Paramahansa Yogananda, and that in Hindu, Paramahansa Yogananda means swan. So a swan song has a lot to do with big truths that are emerging. You've heard, like, the ugly duckling becomes the swan. So swan, it's like key word for that particular animal messenger is grace, which we were just talking about, grace and glory with Jessica. So grace it's almost like you dodge the bullets, because when grace enters your life, glory is kind of like when we're doing the hallelujah, thank you, wow, I've been blessed. But grace is, for me, just my little humble definition, grace a lot of times I know that it's made its presence very powerful in my life when I know that what I didn't know at the time received a lot of clarification, and I'm able to kind of go, okay, oh yeah, like maybe an aha moment for me. So have you noticed since did you say that it was in 2019 you had called in the Lighting the Void show with Joe and I?
Yes.
Was it 2019?
Yes, I was the last caller, and I'm the stay-at-home nurse with my mom, and I'm, just working on and off.
Well, let me tell you this. Let me stop you right there just for a moment. It's a deliberate interruption by my guides, not my ego personality, I promise. The fact that you're a stay-at-home nurse for your mom, you are bringing grace to your mother. Now, that can be overwhelming and tiring and fulfilling and dedicated to you, but to your mom, you're bringing the grace of security and trustworthy, nurturing. So your grace for her, I can tell you that right now. Can you not see that about what you bring her?
Yes, I see that daily, and even during meditation and rituals, I feel the power. I feel it come into me from the source, and I accept that. The thing is that the oracle card from the Swan, it threw me for a loop because it didn't fit my situation at the time, but as time went on, and what you just explained, I can see it now.
Maybe it's a seed. Maybe it was a seed. I mean, Spirit likes to play around with me. It's like they'll give me a sentence like that, or like blah, 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 and I'm like, what the heck is that? What do I connect that to? And like, you'll find out. So they're tough on me, but I do good with the challenge. It's like if I get through the challenge, I can relate it better to Kev and the audience and Scotty, but I love that your guides, your own spiritual urging said, call the show. Call the show and get the clarification, because it sounds to me, and I am in no way making me right, it sounds to me that the presence, the energetic signature of grace has had to be a posture that you have not only adapted to for the greater, higher, harmonious, holistic healing of your mother with all she's going through before it's her time or my time or anybody else's time to fly free, when our spirit slips our skin. But to me, you have been that boots on the ground, armor of grace and comfort. You have brought her spiritual. And even if she was an atheist, you have brought her sanctuary and spiritual security and comfort by the presence in her life and all that you do versus a stranger. Not that God can't and Spirit can't work through other people, but I see grace always. It's like in astrology, Saturn is one of the toughest cycles we go through when I'm doing forecasting for someone when there's a big Saturn cycle. But people, when they read about Saturn, they do like a half knowledge of it. No, Saturn's the boogeyman. No, Saturn will reward you for all the effort and discipline and dedication that you adhered to. You have been Saturn for your mother. You have stayed with it. You have risen above the frustrations. You have put your own personal desires and needs aside. You have acquiesced to grace, and therefore, like Saturn, grace is going to reward you. You're not doing it with a string attached or a leash attached to get the reward, but I can promise you, you call Kev or Joe back in the next 3 months and watch how your life has shifted.
That's good. That's a good sign. I appreciate it. I really love your work. And
thank you.
Bless you very much.
When I care about the follow-up. Joe always says that. I can tell the shorter time I've been with Kev, I can immediately tell with Scotty. It matters, the follow-up from the audience and the questions, because I'm doing this live on a landline. There's no text I'm looking at. There's no websites. There's no Discord. I'm doing this on an old-fashioned landline, so my face isn't even on YouTube, because I want to get all the techno out of the way to where I'm concentrating only on what Spirit and my angelic messages give me from mine to yours. So that way I'm not distracted by modern tech. I want to go straight to the soul and the heart of the matter, and I feel like that, it's okay if you pat yourself on the back, because I am.
Yep.
Yeah, well, I'm a true Pisces, and birthday's March the 4th. And
happy birthday! Happy birthday!
I love lavender.
Scotty, there you
see?
go.
Yeah.
There we go. See? Lavender gang, yo.
That's right, tribe, Pisces tribe. Yep. You want there's Virgos out there too going, and I love me some rosemary too.
Thank you very much, Mary.
Thank you. Bless you. Happy birthday. It's a good year. It's a good year for you.
Yeah, happy birthday from all of us here at KBS and TFR as well. I hope it's a really good one for you, brother.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks, Kim. All right, it's time to medicate and see the moon.
Hey, thank you, my friend. Now that there,
what a great call.
Yeah,
what a
that
great
there,
call.
that's like very typical of the KBS TFR audience we get here. Just wonderful people. And now we're going to go to the Austin area, I believe. Area code 512. Welcome to the show. And I'm going to pass you over to Mary Dusina.
Good evening.
Hello?
Hi there.
Are you
Hi
there?
You're on the show.
Hello?
Yes. Is this 512?
This is 512. Yes, indeed. You're on with Mary. Thanks for calling.
Oh, my goodness. This is the first time I've ever called in. I am so
thank you.
nervous and so excited.
Oh, don't be nervous.
And I feel
don't be nervous. You're just on the phone.
This was meant to happen.
There you go.
This was meant to happen.
I just said. Go ahead.
Pardon?
Go ahead. No, you go ahead.
Okay, I just want a general reading for me, please. I am Scorpio, and my birthday is 10/28/52, and my name is Kathy, and if
that's all I need.
All right, thank you, dear.
That's all I need. Take a breath. Take a nice deep breath, because I can feel your excitement.
Okay,
Take a nice deep breath, and just feel it in your right where your belly button is. No, don't talk. Just listen. Go right to your belly button, and just feel that presence of your sacred guardian angel. Don't gloss over the fact, as I was saying to Kev and Scotty before we ever went on the air. Kev had made the statement, I'm paraphrasing, it'll be interesting to see who gets to call into the show today, and I paraphrase said, it's up to fate and destiny. So I just don't want you to miss the fact that you got in. Fate and destiny allowed you to get through any kind of obstructions to get in. So right there is blessing number one. Now, I don't want you to be so anxious to hear what's going to be said to you that you miss the fact that your intention and your desire and your own soul plugged in and connected enough with fate and destiny. Your affirmation, the medicine worked, and you got through. That's as big of a message as anything that I'm going to say to you, for you to really not gloss past that fact that you desired, you held faith, determination, and it manifested, because it feels like with you sometimes you rush ahead, and I just don't want you to miss the treasure, the magic in the moment. Today is a gift. That's why it's called the present. That's why it's called the present. It's a gift. Now breathe in. The card I get for you is the Four of Cups, which is like four hearts, four communion cups, four chalices, four hearts, and the figure on the card is a person, let's say that's you, sitting outside in a beautiful spring day. They're back up against the tree. The weather is just perfect. There's no bugs bothering you. There's nothing to distract you, but there's a look of concern. as you're sitting there cross-legged at the tree kind of thinking, well, which way do I go and what am I going to do and what's next? And, I don't mean to be ungrateful, but I get a little anxious and I get a little nervous and I get a little bored. And there's this white cloud that appears on the card from the heavens. So it's supernatural. And even though there's 4 hearts total, 4 golden cups of communion total on this card, 3 of them are on the ground in front of you, sitting cross-legged out in nature on a spring day with your back up against the tree. And this white cloud with the hand of an angel, that's supernatural, the hand comes out of the white cloud and is giving you the 4th heart, the 4th cup. So there's an answer coming towards you. There's an answer in a myriad of mysterious, supernatural, and spiritual ways. I feel like that April is going to be a very significant time. I feel like that whatever has seemed to be hanging in limbo, or where you feel like that you've been at a dead end or certainly at a crossroads, I feel as you get closer and closer to the month of April of 2021, I feel like some kind of a weight, some kind of a mental heaviness, some kind of a, can I really get over this? Can I really get beyond this? Can I really find some kind of a bright light or a new way? And Spirit's telling me to tell you that, you're not just an actor. You're not just an actress in this life play, in this earth garden. You're spirit walking around on the earth garden. You are one with Spirit. You are spirit that slipped on skin to walk this world for a while. So they're wanting me to remind you, not to admonish you or judge you, but they're wanting me to, I guess, turn the light on again. Like, I need you to turn the light on. I am Spirit. I am one with Spirit. I need to address how my spirit is doing, and whatever I want, whoever I'm thinking of, whatever I now desire, I need to tune in. I need, just like you're scrolling on Facebook or beginning to post on Instagram, I need to tune in. I need to go to the app, and the app I need to go to has to do with the fact that my spirit is timeless, birthless, deathless, connected to light. And I need to just tune in to the energy and the frequencies. Everything's energy, everything's frequency, and perhaps I could do a ceremony, a prayer, or a dedication, or a blessing to what I want to bring into my life, what I want to be done with in my life, whatever I want to move ahead with in my life. I want to put some forward thinking ahead of me, blessing and thanks. If you want a blessing, find gratitude. If you want to manifest something quicker, feel, not just think. Feel thankfulness, feel gratitude. And if you want to make action of it come faster in your life, go out and tithe or bless somebody else. It can be a smile. You can open the door. You can tithe to a person on the street that's sitting out in front of a grocery store that could use a little food money. You can do however you want to do it. It isn't always financially. It certainly is not always financially. But when you gift something of yours that's a currency of your energy to, like the show that you call into, the network that hosts the show and creates these people to come, you get a reading, you do whatever you need to do, you go bless an animal. When you give without strings attached, without expectation, then because you did it in the spirit of true giving, all that can happen for you is that something that was a plight or a psychological plague or heaviness can be lifted off of you, because whatever's been a hindrance in your path, when you go forth and bless with that sweet spot of true generosity of your soul, then whatever's been in your way, the archangels and the watchers will kick out of your path. So I feel like obstacles are being removed, and sometimes that's physical ailment, sometimes that's surviving an illness or coming back from a broken leg or a car crash or whatever it is. Really, the details of it aren't as important as the fact of the outcome. And I keep feeling very strong about whatever hardship you've gone through, the outcome is right in front of you, and I feel like that there's the brighter, better results or news or next step. There's something that's beginning to lighten the heaviness of a burden that's been upon you.
Oh, God bless you. Oh, thank you so much.
That's sweet. That's so hard. I love how that's so heartfelt what you just said. And I don't say things to puff up people. I don't do it. I'm kind of a Judge Judy of psychics. You can ask Kevin. That's why he calls me Scary Mary. I don't tell people what they want to hear. That's not good for my soul. I have to give them what I'm told. Does that make sense?
Oh, yes, it does. It does. And I thank you so kindly for your time and your wonderful message, and I will take it to heart.
There you go.
Thank you.
And
there you go.
listen,
Let your soul light come on. Yep.
Thank you so much for calling in, Kathy. And I hear your voice now.
You're so welcome.
Compared to when you first called in, and you were so nervous. But Mary's calmed you down, and by the sounds of it, she's left you feeling really, really good. So thank you so much for calling in today, okay?
You are so welcome, and thank you for all you do, Kevin.
Oh, Scotty's here with me as well. I've got a good team. So, Scotty,
and
that was
Scotty,
a great call, wasn't it?
Scotty.
Oh,
it was lovely.
Thank you, ma'am. I appreciate you, and I appreciate I appreciate your kind spirit. I really do. I can see it and sense it, and good for you. Keep steering your ship of life with that.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Thank you, Kathy. Now, we're almost on the break, so I'm not going to go to the next caller yet. Mary, wow, that was, it was quite kind of cute. I don't think I've heard anyone quite that nervous before phoning into my show.
It was so sweet. It was so sweet. There was
you done so well calming her down, though. By the end of the call, it sounded like she was,
What do they call that? What do they call that, Kev or Scotty? There's something about when they're talking about resonance of voice. Isn't when it shakes a little a timbre or the it's not the pitch, but there's a name for it when you're studying, like singing, professional singing.
The tenor of the voice, I believe.
Okay.
It's called.
Yeah, because what she had was, it was like, I could hear, I think you guys could too.
Yeah.
I could hear like a vibrational electricity to her voice.
Yeah, it was, yeah, and then by the end of it, though, it was all harmonious and brilliant.
Yep.
You did very good at calming her down, because you could tell it was that real shaky, real nervous, nervousness was going on there, and it's like, hey, you're just talking to me and Kev. There's nothing to be nervous about.
Right. You're just on the phone. You're just on the phone.
Exactly. So, Mary, how about you pull me a card then? We've got about 4 minutes before we go to the break, and we've got a caller from area code 346. Hang on the line. I don't want to go to you just yet, because I want to give you and Mary time to really get into the call. So, Mary, give me my card. Go for it.
I'll do it. Okay, take a nice breath. With you, this may sound strange to your audience, but with you, I want to say take a third eye breath where you actually see that third eye opening up and receiving in actually like light from the upper realms of the seven heavens. Go ahead and just let that third eye open as I scroll out the cards. Ooh, you got the Hierophant, the High Priestess, and what fell out next to her was the Hierophant. But the High Priestess for me is the card of Pisces. The first of the major arcana is the Magician. And then we have the High Priestess. And the High Priestess is tied in Greek and Roman myth with Isis and the Greek goddess of the rainbow. And the High Priestess sits with the scroll. In this deck, she's holding the flowers, like the buttercups, the daffodils of spring, and she has a veil of pomegranates behind her. And she's in a serene meditation, sitting on a concrete. So there we have like the foundation, the rock people, the crystals, the stone people, as the native peoples call it. And she has 2 crescent moons on top of her yin-yang pillars, which ties into the tree of life and all that. I won't go into that. People can look that stuff up on the internet. What I see with you, with this Piscean energy, and we're in Pisces, and actually tonight, as we're doing this show, Venus left Aquarius and moved into this energetic spice and signature of Pisces. And so the water element favors you, Kev. And I feel like that you're becoming your own intuitive antenna. Maybe that's why they told me third eye. Your own intuitive antenna. I feel like there's going to be more mystical, metaphysical type of shows in the month of March. I feel like there's going to be something that has to do with getting to the core of vast subjects. Like when you said Nano Girl can get to the core of IT or get into the core of that kind of stuff.
So if I was to say I'm going to be embarking on a couple of shows in March that will perhaps take us closer to one of the biggest questions, like, oh, I don't know where we come from. Would that
Right.
fit the bill?
Yeah, the highest magic of solving a mystery to where the many can benefit more than just the person that holds the message or the medicine bag type of a thing. This has to do with it's like a good tidal wave of, when you have sacred knowledge, it brings relief. The wave crashes on the seashore of our life with resonating healing, and it's like, wow, I'm so glad I found out about those herbs or that book or had that guest or that caller really enlivened my world, even though that caller got an important answer for them, like the last caller. Her voice, her energy, how we all got an upliftment from her shift in energy. Those are kind of win-win things to me when it comes to the Magical Mystery Tour. And the High Priestess, but it also is amplifying your intuitive and psychic acumen, Kev. It's got to do with Kev's connection with his higher guides, with his guardian angels, and how that it'll be very subtle. It could be that your dream life becomes very powerfully strong. It can be that I would keep a notepad by your dresser or your nightstand or on the floor with a pen that writes really quick. Sometimes I have to keep a notepad also in the restroom when I get up to go evacuate the bladder at night. I'm like, okay, I want to go back to bed, and I might write it sideways. But
Hold
I
that
really
thought, Mary.
believe.
Hold that thought. We'll be right back. We've got another caller on the line, but one segment to go, folks. We will be right back. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Final part of today's Kev Baker Show. Right here on TFRlive.com. We have got Mary Dusina in the house, and she is absolutely blowing our minds. Now, during the break, our caller has fallen off the line. Please call back in. But we were discussing this tarot card of mine during the break. The medicine man. You mentioned medicine man before we went away to or medicine bag, sorry.
Yeah, the medicine bag and the high priest.
Yeah, and I was telling you and showing Scotty what I was thinking about when you'd said that. And it's an image that we've looked at on the show before, and there's various different civilizations of depicted entities, human and otherwise, where they carry this bag, Scott, right?
Yeah. You see a lot of the was it the representations of the Anunnaki or in these Mesopotamian, Sumerian, that they always seem to be like holding a bag in one hand, and then in the other hand they're holding the pine cone. And and I've heard a lot of kind of and talk about the pine cone possibly being a representation of like the pineal gland. Yep.
Yeah, there's a big pine cone that sits outside the Vatican as well. And here's a really lesser known, interesting pine cone fact. But when I was up at Boleskine House, Aleister Crowley's stomping ground, right in the front garden, right on each side of the kind of pathway, 2 stone cones, pine cones.
Wow.
Yep. So I'm thinking, wow. And there's a guy who liked to exercise his third eye, right, Mary?
Absolutely. It's and I told you before you picked your card, breathe in and receive the light through your third eye.
Yeah. You did. Wow. See, scary Mary, Scott.
Would it be possible if I could get a card pulled?
Absolutely. With you, for some reason, I want to tell you that the back door of your chakras, as I'm mixing the cards, the back door of your chakras, like I seem to be going into the back door of the solar plexus chakra, like it seems like I want to kind of remind you that the light needs to come in from your spinal column and your back, as well as just, people tend to meditate and think about the colors and the lights on the front parts of their chakras, but with you, this is going to sound really funny, almost like a metaphysical comic book, but they're telling me that there's been a clog in your Kundalini pipeline, and by bringing in the light through the back shutters of your chakras, you're going to be able to find that there's something to do with a presence and a mobility and a strengthening, like something's like, whoa, that's interesting, going back into almost like if someone's in physical rehab, like when I broke my arm and I had to have 9 metal pins, they're just like, lift it further when you go through 9 months of rehab, believe me. And I had a Navy officer helping me through my rehab, and it's like, holy mother of God. So anyway, you can only go up so many degrees. Their concern, of course, is you're not going to get the use back of your arm if you don't hit it hard, So, and there's pain, and there's difficulty, and there's frustration, but then when you get it, when you've accomplished it, when you bring it all the way back to pre-accident or pre-tragic, scenario type of thing, the fracture and the brokenness in the body, when you bring it back and you're like, okay, did it. But that's a process, it's a process. So what you have is the Page of Wands, and this is the fire element. Now, interestingly, is the way I learned it, the way I appreciate the knowledge. The fire element commences on March 20th of this year. It's going to be just like a day before, a month after your birthday. Your February 21st, it's going to happen on the 20th. This is when the new year of the zodiac, the Aries, the ram, the shofar, when they blow the ram's horn in a sense, the ram and the surge of empowerment, initiations, and beginnings is going to happen. Apparently, it's especially poignant for you because even though we have 3 fire signs in our 12 zodiac tribe, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, Aries is the first one, and Aries' signature is I am. So Spirit's telling me with this card for you to become cognizant, not picking on your words, but to become very cognizant like a Pisces can, especially a Pisces male, on what you put after the words I am. Sometimes without thinking, we'll go, I am so tired, or I am so frustrated. So I am, so I want you in your affirmations, prayers, ceremonies, connecting with divine source to be more deliberate. Like maybe even get a legal size notepad and put I am up at the top, and underneath that, start making a column of the words that you visually want to see that you are after the I am, because this card, the page, is the messenger. He's like back at the Renaissance medieval time, the dude that came out with the big rolled up parchment scroll and said, hear ye, hear you, hear ye, I do bring the proclamation of the king. And he brought it to we the people. So this is about Spirit granting you insight and privileged, king, queen, privileged information, right? Privileged information. Like if a newscaster was interviewing the president in this country, that newscaster got the privilege of being able to interview the ruler of this country. So that might be divine. That might be that you're having a changing of the guard of an angelic presence. I would think so. The fire, first baptism by water, second baptism by fire. So I feel like that fire is desire, aspiration, inspiration. The page is the one that gets the message and goes and gives the message. Are you thinking about podcasting, teaching, writing?
I've had kind of some ideas floating in my head, of what some plans.
Good.
Kev knows.
Good.
Kev knows I've had plans to do some things, but I just need to commit to them. And so maybe that's what's going to happen. Man.
Well, come on, tell the truth, Scott. You need the other half to commit. You need that other person out there that would make a perfect sparring partner for you to actually come out the coop and commit.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
good.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Well, we've got 3 super full moons in a row. The April 26th full moon, the May 25th eclipse full moon,
Now this is
and
scary.
the June.
You're doing the scary Mary thing again, right? Because I'm thinking, well, if there isn't any callers call up, and we're going to be going to a caller in a moment, I was thinking, well, what do I ask Mary? And I've got jotted down here, what are the key astrological type things that we can look forward to? So listen, stop answering my questions before I ask them. You're making my
I'll try
job
to pause.
untenable around here. No, I'm only joking, Mary. I love
know
you
you are.
to bits. I really do.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
somebody else that we've got on the line here, I love them to bits. They've been a very loyal listener to the show. I want to thank them for calling in. It's area code 330. Welcome to the Kev Baker Show. You're going to be speaking with Mary Dusina. So, Mary, I'm going to let you take over here. with our very,
you, Kev.
very lovely listener. Over to you.
Thank you, caller.
Hello?
Hey.
Yes, I'm here.
Oh, it is me. I thought I was on hold. Oh, I'm nervous. Hi, Mary. How are you?
Can you define?
I'm so excited.
Can you define what you're nervous about? Can you? I like to teach people to get in touch with their energy. Now, excited
Sure.
kind of it defines it for me. But what did you feel you were most nervous about?
No, my heart's racing. I've been listening to you on Kev's show, and the last 2 or 3 times, and I felt something, and I wanted to call. Thought it was impulsive, and well, here I am. So
your intention paid off.
Yeah.
Do you have a question, or do you want me just to pull a card for you?
You know what? I was going to ask you about direction, maybe creatively, if I'm headed in the right direction or not.
I feel like things have been up in the air for like 7 weeks. Like I keep getting 6 to 7 weeks that you've been kind of look left, look right, look all. You're looking at all 4 corners in the room of the possibility and the potentiality of this. And I feel like that you're almost a little afraid to believe in yourself, although you know that once you put your nose to the grindstone and you put your focus to something, that's it. That's all she wrote. So your hesitation is before you make the commitment. Once you embark and set your intention and actually choose the direction, you're in 100%. Like you don't like start it and then quit. And, it's like that's it. If I take the ride, I'm strapping up and I'm committed to the ride.
Yes.
So you're intense. Now, I happen to like that intensity, but you kind of give yourself a hard going through before you get there to that. That's it. I'm doing it. So which is a great laugh. My feeling is.
Sorry, my giggle.
No, I love it. No. Oh no. Don't hold that back.
Okay.
That's supernatural energy right there. That's medicine too. Your actual body noises of when you receive a message or you have joy. Oh no, that's extremely healing and powerful for the audience to hear. I feel with you that what's been up in the air now comes right before you, and I feel like there's something you're going to read a little more about, or I keep seeing this paragraph, and it goes in a book. There's a book, and I know a lot of people don't read books nowadays, but I feel like there's an actual hold in your hand book, and that book can be like an oracle for you. Like you close your eyes, you love this book, and you hold this book, and then you say, okay, I'm going to decide if I'm going to look left or I'm going to look right, and my message is on that page. There's a name for that, liberacy or something like that. But it's like Libra and then, like cartomancy. It's a type of oracle involving books. And I really feel like your message is going to be there. And this is a great full moon for that. I have a lot of friends that use the Bible that way. They'll sit down and they'll say, Holy Ghost, Christ, Spirit.
You just nailed it. Yeah. Wow.
And then you have the book is actually closed, and you put it on your lap, and you take those very important centering breaths. Thank you, God. Thank you, Creator. Thank you, Great Mystery, Great Spirit. I believe. I ask. I summon, and I receive. And then you open the book. And I feel like that's going to be it could be some kind of like sign and wonder of a month that's mentioned, or an animal totem like the one caller we had with the swan that's going to be like, but it's a guiding light. It's a compass. It's a compass. That's it. Thank you, Spirit. It's a compass on your vision quest, because you're on a vision quest. Just like when Scotty said, yep, I really did have quite the awakening and commitment that I made with myself in those years. Okay, this is like a compass that says, trust it. Trust it. Walk with it. It's your true north, just like looking up at the North Star.
That's awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Wow.
Do you understand the messages?
I do, actually. It went, right through me.
It may be literal. It may be literal with you too. As we come into the warmer temps, try to go out and actually, what they say, draw down the power of the moon, or as I say to people, go out and get a moon tan or some starshine. It's really easy for people to love going to the beach or hiking in the mountains and feel that glorious sun. Yeah, I get that. But there's a different kind of energy with, the stars reflecting the light of our great sun. So get out and get some of the stars.
I actually got advice. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, go.
No, I got advice to moon gaze from somebody. I didn't know what that meant, but
Okay, so I'll give you a quick
second time I've
exercise.
heard that.
Okay, that's a confirmation. I'll give you a quick exercise. Go out on your upper deck or go outside in your driveway. This can be really simple. And here's what I always say to my students. Oh, for God's sakes, yes, you'll pay me for an in-depth reading, but I can tell you so many things to do for free. Really? Will you go do them? So here's a free one. So go out on your driveway or in your yard or on your deck. It's free, remember? Or out back where you can see the stars. And turn out your porch light so you can see the stars. And don't get mad or pissy if somebody's got a street light. Just find a different direction where you can see the stars. And you feel safe. And then close your eyes and feel with it. Take a deep breath and say to yourself, higher self, Holy Spirit, Great Spirit, beloved angels, give me the feeling of which way to turn my body while my eyes are closed to look at the constellations, to look at my starry storytellers. And you can turn around all the way once slowly and you'll to get that. And all of a sudden it'll be like, oh, that felt like the right place to stop and open my eyes. And then look at those stars, receive that energy. And I don't know the name of it, but there's all kinds of free, keyword again, free apps on your phone that if you hold your smartphone up to the sky, it'll tell you exactly what the constellations are you're looking at. And that's your message. That's a star oracle.
That tonight.
Okay. I'm committed,
so awesome.
Mary. Yeah, go do that because I feel like
I am.
you have nocturnal medicine going for you, nocturnal. And like Kev's got Australian connections, outback people that know about the power of this and the Anastasia and the star nations. They know about the river of stars. The Greeks and the Romans, Babylonians knew about the constellations being signs and wonders and messengers for you. Then you come into your little house and you get on your phone or on your laptop and you look up what is the legend and the myth and the message of that particular constellation that got your attention. And that's how the divine can talk to you through the stars.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Now caller,
All right.
Scotty's here as well, so he's going to say hello to you. But with Scotty, you're sitting smiling away. Did I tell you Mary's good? Did I tell you that?
Yes. And I was just about to type there in the Skype. I was like, man, she's amazing, dude. She really is.
Thank you, Scotty. We all are.
No.
Yeah, thank you, Kevin, Scotty, and Mary. I appreciate it.
Thank you for saluting the trifecta tonight.
That's it. Yep, the three
Absolutely.
musketeers.
Y'all take care.
Well,
Thank you. Bless you.
Thank you very much. So, Scotty, I'm going to pass it to you quickly. We've got one more caller. Area code 828. Get ready. We'll be coming to you in just a second. But just to follow up on what you said there, Scott, yeah, this is one of the highlights for me when I hear people phoning in. And the excitement and the happiness and the positivity and the energy that flows throughout the entire show. I certainly think Mary brings an energy with her. I can feel it, and I hope you're feeling it too, dude.
I was just about to say I can feel the energy that Mary brings with her to the show. I mean, it's a very I don't know how to describe it.
When do you ever see me this smiley and upbeat, Scott? Usually I've got something to complain about,
I've got like this. I've had this like cheesy grin on my face the entire time because I just,
You know what I think? You know what I've often thought the piece of it is that my spirit guides have told me? It's like the light of our inner child. That part of us, when you're a toddler or you've had a toddler or you watched your nieces or your nephews or you remember your own toddlerhood when you're in the hood as a toddler, if you watch them, it's like your kids or whatever. They're like 2, 3 years old and they get up and they don't know how to speak the full language of this planet yet. They're like, Jesus, I'm just coming to this new world. Like I can't wipe my own butt and I can't feed myself. But they'll crawl to the door and when they see rain or they see a puppy or a kitten or their parents and they just squeal with delight, or a butterfly, their first butterfly, or it's the sun comes out, and they just want to get there. They don't know about the danger of falling because they can hardly walk, or they're newly walking. They just want to get out there and connect with that. I believe that's what especially with this Aquarius theme this year, we're supposed to be plugging into the heavens. We've all had enough of the vitriol, the violence, and the venom. We're done. So as light workers, we have to swipe, get out. I rebuke you, and embrace with whatever our talents, our strengths, and our skills are. Bring that to the table.
Yeah. And now, I mean, think about it. I mean, isn't this what me and you have been trying to do, Kev? You know, right? Like, we've been trying to kind of put out this positive vibe and not get sucked into a lot of the craziness that's been going on, right? And we've decided that we're kind of taking this different path or doing things differently than what everybody else is doing, because you can see the madness that people have been dragged into.
It is madness. It's like a rabid dog. It's like madness has, it's like it's infected them. They got to get rid of that infection. Don't worry so much about the corona. Get rid of the infection of how the fear porn or the other stuff or the anger is getting into you. Stop being an ambassador for someone else's anger or truth or lies or whatever it is. Get a grip. It's free. Get in touch with your own spirit. Get in touch with your own empowerment, and stop letting other people be vampires in your life and piggyback onto your energy. We got to get that succubus, incubus stuff out of us and rebuke it. I mean, there is an exercise called rebuking. You are exercising as an exorcist. I'm not allowing these vampirical energies around me. I rebuke
Mary,
you.
I need to jump in. Scott, have you got something quick to say? Because I've got one more caller I want to get to before we go.
Let's go to the caller. And
it's funny you mentioned ambassador and people that want to ride along on your energy. I could tell you a long story about that one day, Mary. But we're going to go to the call line here. And it is area code 828. You're finally on with Mary Dusina. Thank you so much for calling today. And Mary, it's over to you.
Thank you. Hello, caller. Are you there?
Are you there? Area code 828. Nope, they've hung up. They got scared.
It's a ghost in the machine. It's a ghost in the
Yes, we rebuked them. And yes, Scott, this is something I've picked up on as well. And before Mary came onto the show, if somebody had said, you're going to have Bill Bean and the way we walk the walk and talk the talk on warrior mode, and Bill talks about rebuking entities and all this stuff. And if somebody had said to me, well, you're going to bring an astrologer on, you know what, Kev? They're going to end up sounding the same. I'd have said, no, that can't be. That doesn't sound right. But you know what? Week after week, it's like a totally different perception. But we're talking about exactly the same thing. And it all leads back to call it God, call it source, call it universe, light versus darkness. And that's why it does fit together, Scott.
It does, and like Mary was saying earlier, however you want to connect to whatever you want to call it, be it, whatever religion you might adhere to. I mean, we're all talking about the same thing, right? We're talking about the great creator, the source, whatever we're talking about here. And there is a battle going on between light and dark. Good versus evil, whatever you want to call it. There's a light and a dark, and there is a battle that has been going on since the very beginning, and it's going to continue until the very end. And we just have to decide which path we want to take. And
well, Pisces, the Pisces season every year. You look at even the Christian symbol, the fishes. I shall make you fishers of men. So the Pisces symbol is the fish. They can't seem to get anywhere because they're going in opposite directions. And the fishes go, let's go this way. No, let's go this way. So the fishes and the 12th sign of the zodiac is about the choice that God gives us, the choice that the Creator gives us. It's like when you look at, and I get this wrong and I'll have to correct it, but it's either in Job 1:4 or 4:1 where Satan, if you will, Satan is asked, Satan, from whence dost thou come? And the reply is, I am the back and forth, I am the back and forth and the to and fro, and I am all about the world. So it's the confusion and it's the chaos and
Mary,
never being able to...
Mary, sorry, I'm going to try and connect with this caller again real quickly.
Good.
Area code 828. You're back on the line. Are you there? No, nothing.
That's wild.
Are you there, area code 828? I heard something there. That's strange. Oh,
It
there's a
is.
ghost
It's
in the
woo.
machine. That is woo. Mary, you raised the woo. So listen, you've got about 3 minutes here. You were about to get into major astrological events to keep
Yes.
our eyes open for. What have we got in the year ahead?
Well, we've got this. I was doing like a little synopsis because we're coming into spring, my beginning of the new year. We've got 3 super full moons. We've got an August 22nd blue moon. We've got 2 blood moons. So the moon is speaking. The rest of the constellations are going to be taking orders from the moon, which is good. Mother Earth, grandmother moon. So our ancients and our elders are speaking to us a lot with the moon emanations, the moon energies. Like the 2 blood moons, May 26th will be a total lunar eclipse in the vision questing sign of Sagittarius. And we'll have also in August, we'll have a sunrise ring of fire eclipse that takes place. The lowest hanging full moon of 2021 will be the June one, right around Midsummer's Eve, which is such a magical time. But for this full moon, because I know we'll be together next full moon, I want to start a little thing where we give the 4 signs most seasoned or lit up by this full moon. Of course, Pisces and Virgo. For Pisces, if you look at the medicine wheel, it's the 7th, it's the house of relationships, the 7th house, or the sunset for the Pisces because the moon's in Virgo. So it's about Pisces out there, male or female. Pay attention to who spirit is having you connect with between now, the 25th of February, into the 28th of February. Watch who you're around, the ideas that come to you, the dreams you have. Very powerful time of intuition. Virgo, this is your strongest full moon of the year. So it's about what do you want to shift into and away from. It's time for you to make the decision and stop projecting your junk, blaming other people, own your stuff, move ahead, or stay stuck. It's free. Either way, you got to make a choice.
And Mary,
and for Gemini,
I've got you booked in. I've got you booked in for the 29th of March. That's a Monday.
Yay!
Yes, I checked the schedule there. But we're almost out of time, ladies and gentlemen. But TFR, we keep on rolling. More live radio coming up after the break. But Mary, let people know real quickly when you're going to be on with Joe Roop this month.
With Joe, it's always the new moon that I go on with Joe, and so the next new moon is going to be on the 13th of March. That's a Saturday, so I'll be on the 12th, Lighting the Void with the Fringe FM with Joe Roop.
A big shout out to the team over there. I was recording some promos for Ryan Gable today, so a big shout out to him and the team. And Scotty will be back tomorrow with a Pirates of the Caribbean with a difference special on Freaky Friday. So, folks, wherever you are out there, make it TFR and Denny. Touch that dial. Remember to visit Mary's website at marydusina.com. That's Mary, DUSINA.com. She'll be back on the 29th. I hope you are too. And again, wherever you are, make it TFR.